Hi there, Björn from Physio Innovation. Today I'm going to talk about wrist issues. So the wrist and your hand obviously is one of three contact points on your bike. So what we can experience here, what I see in the clinic and sometimes also in the terrain, people having numbness, tingling, it could be cold fingers also. So these are blood distribution issues, you would call it. It could be occlusion around arteries, occlusion around nerves. So what can impact this is, you can say, first of all, your weight distribution on your bike. So it could be that you're too narrow or you're too short in your position. You got too much weight on your front part of your bike compared to the, we could call it free weight of your pelvis here on your saddle. So you got this issue being too much on your front, and this gives you a whole lot of muscle contraction, workload on your lower arms, your upper arms, your shoulders, and eventually also your pectorals. So just beneath these pectoral muscles, you got some quite big arteries and veins going down to your arm and eventually your wrist also. So the more weight you have on your front, the more workload you would need to do in your pectoral, static workload, in order to actually hold this position. And if you are also quite nervous, I would call it, in the traffic maybe, you would even have a tendency to hold quite tightly onto your hoods, hold tightly here to your handlebar, as it was the life that matters, which it is, obviously, but you want to be able to have a relaxed position. You want to be able to play the piano, to play easily like this with your fingers, to relax your upper body. So if you are able to do this, already here you would have a better and more easily blood flow circulation going into eventually your wrists. And it would also mean that if you are not contracting around your hand, if you're not engaging your lower arm muscles, well, it kind of plays all the way up here to around your neck, and it relaxes in a more natural way that will give you a better workload also for your diaphragm to, not a workload, but it will give you a better, a more easy breathing for your diaphragm, and you would tend to have less this raising of your shoulders, because the raising of your shoulders often it comes with getting your shoulders in the front like this, and once you do this movement, you will also have too much of an activation of the small pectorals where you have these big arteries and veins. So in order to relax in this part, you need to be able to breathe here, right? If you're not able to do this, what will you tend to do? You tend to raise your shoulders, and there you go. This is one of the problems where you have some of the start of the occlusion of your big arteries and your big veins also going around your nerves, and this can eventually give you these symptoms going all the way to the wrist. Another thing that at least has been better with years is that when you look at the design of the hoods nowadays, they are often quite big up here with the knob here. So that gives you a little bit more, you would say, stability for your hand, and you would better be able to kind of relax your whole hand on this one. So that at least has been developed very well during the years. What you could also try and do, try and look at the angle of your hood, this one. You could actually give it a little bit more of an angle like this. It would be more natural, it would come more natural to my whole hand here. So when I position my hand what I don't want to do is having too much of this movement. So you don't want to be looking at a hood that actually goes down like this. You would want it to be natural like this. So the natural position for me here would actually be to raise my hood in an angle like this. So I'll do this now, quite easily to do. You could also do it on the actual hood or ask your mechanic to do it, so he can put it a little bit higher like this. It's a little bit less, you do have a little bit more, of a wind resistance, but if you live, for example, like me in mountains, it will give you a little bit easier grip, and you feel that you got more relaxation here. So let's try to move the angle like this. Let's see if it goes. There we go. So just for the purpose of today, I'll show you quite a raised hood like this. Right, this will be good. And you see my hand goes quite naturally into the hood here. I don't do any of this kind of movement, so this movement can close in your part here of the wrist, and activates also the lower arm muscles, where you got the arteries and the whole blood flow coming in. And this would be one trick to encounter these type of issues. Have a look at your hoods. Can you angle them a little bit? Maybe if you got problems with your wrist. Have a look at your weight distribution on the bike. Are you too much, do you have too much weight on the front? Too much weight bearing compared to what you get for free on the saddle? Have a look. You would also need to look at your reach. Are you out flying over here? Well, this is an issue. It was especially more modern in back in the days to have a longer position like this. Now we see it a bit less. You could also, if you are a cyclist that likes this position, for example, for climbing the mountains, again, you would maybe look at the shape of the handlebar. The round handlebars, I find them a little bit less ergonomic, to be honest. I tend to see people that have too much activation once they're round. If you had a more flat bar up here, then you would have a little bit more of a pressure on distributed evenly on your hand. So this also could encounter and help you to relieve some of these symptoms of numbness or tingling or irritation around your wrist and your fingers. So be careful in terms of choice of type of handlebar. That's a very good start. And other things that you would need to see also is obviously here I've actually done a little bit too much. I should have just taken the hood and moved it, but be careful if you do this trick as I just showed you, that this part here, the lower part of your handlebar, that you don't have this angle here, because it kind of tends to slip down. It's not that you're going to do it, but this one should be a little bit more horizontal, shouldn't go down like this, right? So it was only for the purpose of this video to show you this angling of your hood. So you need to move your hoods mainly on your handlebar. Okay, so these are some tips and tricks what you should try to emphasize once you're biking. If you're biking, for example, in mountains or terrain that is rolling, try to look at it like another another type of position also whilst you're working. So try to have the idea that the next position is always the best one. So try to vary the positions you choose on your handlebar. You got a lot of choice here. It's not a mountain bike handlebar where we do have less choice. You got the choice to be here, you got the choice to be here, here, here. You can bend and you can do many things. You got much more of a choice in reach. So try to change your position, go out of the saddle, be dynamic, and very, very important, I think, try to think of your hands. Try to relax your fingers. Try to play the piano. If you're able to do this, being relaxed on the bike, well, I would say that's maybe, so this movement. If you can do this, it's probably the best trick, the best, I would say, method to help these tingling and the numbness or cold fingers. But it does require that you got the core training, the core stability to keep you on the bike. Yeah, train your core and train your back, and be careful that you got a proper reach ratio. Okay, that's it for today. See you in another video. We are soon at the end of some of the anatomical parts. If you got ideas, if you want me to talk about something, I'm more than open to listen to your ideas, and I'll try and do that for you. See you soon, and enjoy your ride.